this thing on? Hey kids! Welcome to Dixon Drawing Class, episode 2 of 24. In this series, I'm going to give you the tools and teach you what you need to know so that you can make pictures like this, or like this. So if you've just come to draw Baby Dory, go ahead and skip to that part in the video. The time code should be listed in the video description below. However, if you are in for the whole bag of beans, if you've seen episode 1 and you are now on episode 2, it's been a week later, you've been practicing drawing, awesome, continue listening to our mini lecture, it'll be great. Did you do your homework? Our homework last week was drawing 30 minutes to an hour a day, and just practicing drawing anything that you wanted to draw. Were you able to do it? Were you able to find time? If you weren't able to find time, I have some advice for you.
Make time!
Today we are going to be talking about drawing circles and squares and straight lines, which is something that everybody's going to need to learn how to use. If you want to become like a really good artist, you have to learn how to draw good circles and good squares and straight lines, because you can break up anything, any picture, into just simple shapes, okay? And let me give you an example of that. So here we have Rapunzel, all right, and if I were just drawing her, not in simple shapes, but like, let's say I started with her eyes, okay, and then her nose, right, her mouth, and then let's say, oh, I want to do her hand now, okay. So you're doing her hand, okay, and you're like, and then I want to draw her strands of hair, and then you want to maybe draw her bust here, and here's her arm, and we're like, oh no, she's having a, okay, so the idea is, I'm not breaking this up into simple shapes, I'm just kind of drawing it to what the line is, or where I think the line is, and if I do that, there's a few disadvantages to that, and what they are is a lot of times, like, you're not getting down like the proportions. Like if you look at this, like her forearm just got really short because I wasn't properly measuring this, because I wasn't starting out big to small and breaking it up into simple shapes. And she looks kind of goofy in the face, and you know that she's going to look totally mangled by the time I'm done with her, because I'm just focusing on tiny little details instead of breaking it down into simple shapes. So that's one disadvantage to not breaking things down. Another one is if I wanted to draw her in a different position, I couldn't do that because I don't know what she's built of. I couldn't draw those basic shapes in different positions and then fill out the details. Just because I'm doing the line work, and the line work's going to be way different no matter what position she's in, versus all the simple shapes are going to be pretty much the simple shapes, just in different positions. So let me give you an example. Hang on. Of me breaking her down into simple shapes, okay? So, let's see, she kind of does a chest like this, and she has hips like this.
Oh, the Danube is green as the grass, and the spring is as green as the dahlia you strand on a fling. It's as green as the paint that you put on the screen. Oh, the blue of the Danube is greener than green. The Danube is a blue. Am I blue? No, the Danube has another hue. It's time we all can sing.
Okay, so there you see, not perfect, definitely not, but a lot closer than the last one would have done. And I did it in, what, like 2 minutes? So can you see how breaking the things up into its proper proportions actually makes for a better end drawing? Also, because I know that she's like 3 basic circles here, it's a lot easier. Like if I wanted to draw her, let's say bending down, we have her head, we have her hips, we have her legs, maybe picking up Pascal. Okay, so can you see how, like, I would never have been able to draw that gesture of Rapunzel if I didn't know that, like, that's how she was broken up into shapes and all that kind of thing. So, let's talk about actually the simple shapes themselves. Just 3 things I think you need to learn is circles, squares, and lines, okay? And I think these are all like really difficult to nail down. You think, oh, circles and squares, that's nothing. But it is really something that you will need to master. Okay? And all you can do is, you know, sometimes it helps to trace circles. Like if you look at this. But just always try and get that perfect circle, okay? Okay, and then you can hold your paper up to the light, you could switch it around, okay, and you could say, oh, this circle is totally crooked. This is more of an oval, okay, and then you trace your paper, erase, try and get it just right, and pretty soon you'll be able to train your eye to see if your circle is crooked or not. This is very important. If you practice drawing this, it's like practicing scales on a piano. You practice it every day, but you don't realize that your muscles are getting stronger and your fingers are learning to play the notes faster, right? And it's just like learning how to draw, drawing circles with a sure line, that kind of thing. Okay. Okay, let's flip this over again and see how well I did. Okay, now it still feels a little bit crooked. But it's getting there. Okay, sometimes it helps to even trace circles and squares and like recognize where your weaknesses are and compensate for that. Okay, and just keep working at it, keep noodling, keep trying to get, you know, those circles. Okay. Okay, so let's talk about squares for a second. Okay, squares I think are even trickier than circles because if you're right-handed or left-handed, you're actually usually pulling a line towards here. So a lot of times our squares kind of turn out like this, all right? Or if you're left-handed, it turns out slanting the other way because, you know, we're drawing to the side basically. We're not drawing straight on. So the way to combat this is when you practice drawing squares on your paper, make sure that the line is parallel with the edge. So that's kind of a good way to figure out how to do this. Is this, you know, parallel to this? This is parallel to this, okay? You always want to try and get this 90 degrees. All right, if you can draw a 90-degree angle, then you are golden. Let's see how this square turned out. Okay, not quite perfect. See, there's more room up here than up here. Let's see, it's a little hard to tell down here, and it looks like there's more room up here than down here. So let's okay. All right, I would say this isn't too bad of a square. And then once you get the squares down, you'll want to, you know, practice rectangles and that kind of thing. And then, of course, it's really important to draw a straight line. Now, if you're drawing a straight line on a computer with a ruler, you know, do what you got to do to make a straight line if it's for a project or something. But when you're practicing drawing, do it without the ruler and do it without the help of the computer. See, this looks pretty straight because I'm pressing shift while I do it. I'm cheating. Okay? When you're actually practicing drawing, try and get a straight line just freehand, okay? And I usually try and measure from here to here, you know, here to the end of the paper, just like I did with a square. Try and get a straight line there. Sometimes it helps to get a straight line if you go fast, but a lot of times that line can still be wobbly and kind of crooked, and you have to like always press undo and stuff to get finally the line that you like. So I think it's better just to, you know, train your hand to be able to draw straight lines. Okay, so this is our mini lecture. All right, drawing circles, squares, and lines and getting that perfect, okay? Okay, now we are to the drawing section of our drawing class, and we are going to do Baby Dory. I did this for my last drawing class with like the neighborhood kids, and they all called Dory, Baby Dory, a potato with eyes. See what we did there? Anyways, let's draw. Printed this sheet of paper out. Okay, it's found on my website. The link is included in the video description. So you can go to my website and print it out if you want, or you can follow along below, where we have the sheet pulled up. So here we have Baby Dory, and as you can see, we always want to do big to small, and so the biggest circle here is her head and body. Okay, it's all just one big circle. If you look, we have a sheet of paper in comparison. This is how big this circle should be on your page. And by the way, just to remind you, all you need for this class, you don't need a fancy digital tablet or anything. You just need something hard to draw on and a paper and a pencil. That is it. You could even be brave and try doing it with a pen if you're brave. Okay. So anyways, let's begin by just looking at this guide sheet, recognizing how big these circles are in comparison to these circles, looking back and forth and seeing how big she needs to be on your page. Okay, now if we look at Baby Dory, this isn't exactly a circle, okay? It's a kind of a crooked oval. All right, so why don't we begin by drawing this crooked oval, and it would probably be about right here on the page and about this big. Okay, remember, always remember just to draw super light, just really light. Okay, and I wouldn't erase until later on, when you've got all the proportions and stuff down and are ready to go into the details. Okay. You know, I'm looking at this from here to here, and I don't think my oval's crooked enough, so I'm gonna try and remedy that right now. Okay, yes, I am going to erase a little bit. Okay, I think this is pretty close. How are you guys feeling about your ovals? Take a look, flicking back and forth. All right, and see if you have it pretty close to the drawing here. A lot of figuring out how to draw is just optical measuring, just measuring with your eyes. Okay, so we've got our main circle. Why don't we actually split this circle up? So as you can see, we have these two guiding lines, and it looks like they cross right about pretty close to the edge of her face right here. Right about here, I'd say, is where they cross. Okay, so not halfway, really close here. And remember, we call these markers where we feel like the line crosses through. So go ahead and draw markers, and it looks like it's about right here. Okay, so it's definitely at a curve. Okay, we bring it around like this. Go ahead and draw this curved line straight through. Okay, yeah, I think I need to just go just a little bit lower like that. Okay. Okay. All right, now let's do this other line, and look at how close it is. It just makes this negative space here just a crescent line, okay? We have it right here, and it crosses through right about here, okay? All right. There we go. Okay. And look at your Baby Dory. Look at this, and see if you can measure and see if that's about right. I think this line looks good. I think if I'm looking at the negative space here, I think I've put too much negative space here. So I'm going to go back to my original line right there. Okay. 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 Okay, so here we go. We have our potato here. Let's add eyes to our potato. Now look at how huge her eyes are. If you want something to look very innocent and cute, like a baby or a young girl, you want to give them really big eyes. Okay, and that's what we've got here. Sometimes it helps to just lightly go over this, get the motion in your hands, get the motion of this circle, and look at how big it is compared to this circle. It nearly fills up this whole circle. Okay, not all of it. I mean, there's room on the top and there's room on the bottom, and it is inside this line. We can even draw markers here, but look, it's like it's taking up a good amount of space. Okay, she's got these big purple eyes. Okay, all right, and let's draw this perfect circle. Oh, that is not perfect. It might take a few tries, guys. Don't get discouraged. I'm so discouraged. Okay, I'm looking at this, and I'm thinking, I don't think I've made my eye big enough, so... Oh, I know what the problem is. Okay, so if you look at this, and you look at this, if you can see in mine, like, there's way more space on the bottom here than there is on the top, and I've almost split it halfway through, so I'm going to bring this eye down. Okay, that's better. Okay, now that we've got that eyeball, let's move on to the other eyeball. If you can see, it's a little bit higher up than this eyeball. Okay, so they're at a slant. Boink. It also crosses over about this much into her eyeball. Okay, and then it comes about this much off of her face. Okay, maybe it's a little bit closer to here. this. Okay, drawing markers. Let's fill in that eye right there, okay? Alright, kind of looks like a Mr. Potato Head. Wow, this is like the joke that keeps on giving. Okay. That feels about right to me. How are you guys feeling about your eyeballs? If you need to, go ahead and stop the video and take a break and take as much time as you need on the eyeballs. There's no crime in that. Okay, and then unpause. We'll get back to this. Okay, I would say, since we're still on the eyeballs, how about we fill in her irises and pupils here. So let's take a look at this. They're definitely smaller than half, okay? So you can see, yeah, but they're kind of close. They're kind of close to if we filled up her thing with halfway. Like if we broke this into a halfway mark, yeah, her eye would be probably about right here, okay? So just a little bit smaller than half. And right now it looks like we're drawing it smaller than it is because we haven't filled in her bottom lids and her top lids. Okay, so now look at this. This is almost a sideways oval, if you can kind of see. All right, so not quite sideways, but almost there. Okay, and the same on this side. If you look, her pupils are like almost touching. And let's see, it looks like this is almost exactly centered on where these two lines cross. Okay, now that I'm looking at it, it looks like I've given this too much space up here. Okay, maybe even further down. Okay, okay, so it kind of looks like a bullseye right there. Okay, and her pupils are basically the same thing. If you want to go ahead and just fill those in. Okay. Okay, all right, so here we go. Wow, this looks pretty creepy right now, huh? Okay, since we're still on her face, let's just draw a light line to indicate her eyelids right here. And as you can see, they slope up like this, and these kind of slope like this. Okay. Okay. The same with this one. It looks like it starts right about here. Okay. And it goes like this. It just slopes down here. Okay. All right, and let's fill in her cute little mouth. It's maybe higher up. Okay, let's measure from where the bottom of this eyelid is to here. We draw this little sideways oval right here. Okay, this is just looking creepier and creepier, isn't it? Never fear, it's gonna turn out okay. All right, how are you feeling about her face? Like I said, it probably looks pretty creepy right now. Let's add a tail and some fins. Okay, so if we look at the tail, can you see that it begins kind of above this line? All right, so let's kind of mark that rectangle. Hey, we talked about rectangles today. All right, I'm looking at this. I think I made my rectangle too long. Okay. All right, and then probably this extends about twice as long. Okay. Let's go ahead and slope it down. All right, and then curve it up. Okay. Okay. And she has a dinky little fin right about here. If you can measure it down from this little X that we have here. looks like it's just like right, almost, here's like the bottom of this oval, and here's the side. It's maybe closer to the side than the bottom. Yeah, I would say about right there. Okay, and it's just kind of a trapezoid, maybe a little bit of an oval. Okay. Okay, we bring this down here like this. All right, let's fill in the shape of her face. Okay. So if you notice, she has her brow right here, kind of jutting out, and it kind of goes like this. Okay, and you don't want to make it huge or anything. That would make her look kind of simian. So, yeah, I think even that's a little too big. I'll go like this. Okay. All right, it just kind of slopes over. Now, if you look at this, it's actually, we did an oval, but her face actually kind of curves in and then comes out, okay? So, if you look at how far it curves in, it almost touches this line right here. All right, if you can tell my mess of drawing. And it goes over, around like this. Okay, and like this. Let's draw her other brow. It's a little bit hard to see, but it goes up like this. Okay. Okay. Now is the part of the story where, or part of the drawing, where you can go ahead and erase these lines, okay? Or if you're like me and are not a huge fan of erasing, what you want to do is hold it up to a window, tape your drawing to a window, or you can also put it on top of a light surface and then put your paper on top, and you'll be able to see the lines through it and trace over it, okay? So here we go. Go ahead and let's get this line.
Oh, the Danube is green as the grass, and the spring is as green as the dollar you spend on a fling is as green as the paint that you put on the screen. Oh, the blue of the Danube is greener than green. The Danube is a blue. Am I blue? No, the Danube has another hue. It's fine, we all can sing. B.O. The Danube is a blue.
Awesome. How do you feel that yours turned out? Do you like it? You can always keep on practicing it, and one thing that might be fun as well is to take this drawing that you just drew and then practice drawing, and it doesn't even need to be practicing Dory, but practice drawing and then go back to drawing this Dory again by the end of the week and see how much you've improved. It's kind of a cool exercise. Okay, so time for the awkward segue into questions and answers. Hey, I'm gonna answer a question for you because reasons. So this is actually from an email that I got just this past week, and Amber asks if I could recommend books to help her get better at drawing. And yes, I can. I love, love, love collecting drawing books. It's one of my favorite things. There are so many books that you could collect and learn from and stuff that I'm just going to give you the basic ones, okay? So I would recommend getting a figure drawing book, and I think this one's good. This one is The Figure by Walt Reed, and it's if you're worried about like nudity and stuff, I think it's pretty tame inside. There's not too much to worry about. And it's very good, very basic, goes through approach. It's what I bought and what helped me get into the animation program at BYU. So I definitely recommend this one. Another really good one that also breaks animals, or is for animals, is The Art of Animal Drawing. And this is by Ken Holtgren. He was a Disney artist. He is excellent, and he goes through, you know, just the basic breakdown of animals. Lots of time spent on horses. So that's good. We've got big cats, cows. I think there's even, yeah, there's kangaroos in here. Okay. So this is a very good one to have if you want to get better at drawing. Let's see. This one by Ben Caldwell. He is like there's like 2 in this series, and one is action cartooning and one is fantasy cartooning. I would start out with action cartooning. This is really nice because it just takes basic drawings and, you know, puts them into basic shapes and stuff. Kind of breaks muscles down into basic shapes and that kind of thing. Hands too. It's a really, really good book, especially if you're looking to get better. I'm still practicing from this book, so it's a good one. If you want to go into the more advanced books, these art of books are very good. All right, that you can look at. That's one Secret of Kells. The Art of Toy Story 3. I have a bunch of these art of books. They are really, really great. This one, Setting the Scene, is very good if you are like me and need to learn more about perspective and stuff. Let me see if I can... This has like backgrounds and things. There's also a very good blog, animationbackgrounds.blogspot.com, I think it is. This one is also good. Animal Anatomy for Artists. So these are just the basic ones, okay? Those first 3 especially, I would recommend. And then you can, you know, go ahead and build up your library based on the things that you feel like you need to learn. Okay. So that about wraps things up. Your homework, if you can read it on the sheet, is to practice drawing circles and squares and straight lines, which I kind of showed you how to practice doing that today. So if you can do that throughout the week, as well as just practicing 30 minutes to an hour a day. So we're just going to build and build and build and build and build until by episode 24 your head explodes. It'll be so much fun. All right, thanks for joining us. If you have any questions for me, go ahead and leave an answer in the comment section. And I'm excited to see you next week. Bye-bye.